Miller, the Director of Career Services at Lindsey Wilson College. I'm here today with alumnus Derek Cape. Derek is a graduate of Lindsey Wilson, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his transition from college to career and then beyond. So thank you for coming, Derek. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? When did you graduate?
I'm actually from here in Columbia, Kentucky. Grew up here my whole life. Went to Adair County High School, then came here to Lindsey. I graduated high school in 2008 and ended up on the 5-year plan here at Lindsey and graduated in 2013. With student teaching and baseball, it was kind of hard to work those in together.
So you were an education major?
Right, yeah. I was a health and physical education major.
Okay. So when did you officially graduate?
May of 2013 was my official graduating date.
Okay.
I don't know the exact date. But
And when was your baseball career?
My baseball career ended in 2012. In May of 2012 was my 4th year. They only allowed you to play 4 years, so that was my last year of baseball.
Okay. Why did you even pick Lindsey Wilson College? What was it about Lindsey that stood out to you?
Well, I'm from here, so I was always a part of Lindsey Wilson. I felt like I went to baseball games when I was 12 years old on. I knew Coach Talley from when I was a kid. He coached me in Little League all the way up. And just being around everyone here, it just felt like it was the only place I was going to go. I applied to other places, had other options, but at the end of the day, I was always going to be at Lindsey Wilson.
And why did you pick education as your major?
Well, when I first got here, I didn't really know what I was going to do. I was in between communications and in between education and business. I really didn't have a clue. And then I had a talk with Tracy Pooler one day, and we just sat down and talked, and it basically just came that I loved kids. I loved being around kids. I loved helping them. Especially coaching and with teaching, it's basically coaching it's the same thing. So just being around the kids was a big thing. Then once I first got into education classes, I got to be around the kids. Got to actually interact with them, and it was a thing. This is the thing I was meant to do.
So you also had a communication minor, was that correct?
Right. Where I didn't know what I was going to do. I'd already taken 6 or 8 communication classes, so I was like one class away from getting a minor in it. And I think that helps. Being able to communicate with people is a big thing.
Absolutely. What did you really take away from your student teaching experience?
Well, first off, we were in Caverna, so that's definitely a diverse area compared to Columbia. I mean, Columbia is a little bit different than Caverna, so being able to interact with those type of kids, that especially helped me when I got my first job at North Hardin because it's a diverse school there as well. So being able to interact with kids like that I wasn't used to interacting with was big. And then student teaching, I got to student teach with small kids, elementary, plus the middle school kids. So I got to interact with all different levels of kids because I'm going to be K through 12. So I've got to be able to interact with every age of kids. So that was big, being able to mix up and see what kind of kids I was going to work with.
Well, you mentioned Hardin County. That's where you landed your first teaching job, right?
Right, North Hardin High School.
So how was the interview process for that?
It was good. I went in. And I kind of had it in anyway with some of the people that I knew there. It kind of got me the interview anyway. So I kind of had a little way in there anyway. But the interview was good. I went in and met with the principal, another teacher in the physical education department, and then 2 of their board members. We just sat around the table and basically just had a discussion. But it went really well.
Did you feel prepared when you finally went into your first classroom?
Yeah, I did. The biggest thing was I had 3 different types of classes. So it was hard to... back here at Lindsey, I would prepare for one class or prepare for, a 5-day unit. The difficult thing was having to be able to prepare for 3 different classes each day. But as far as lesson plans and things like that, I was all over it. We didn't even have to turn in the lesson plans to our principal, so our lesson plans were a lot easier to do, which was a big surprise. But it was also a big thing because the time that it takes to do those lesson plans, it was a lot better just to be able to put them together.
Well, and because our education department really puts an emphasis on having a lot and plans in your back pocket, were you able to use any of those?
I used every one of them.
Good.
I used every one of them. I had a nutrition unit that I used, and I had just a physical fitness one that I used. All of my physical education lessons I used, so I used them all.
Good.
Now I would kind of move them around a little bit, kind of depending on how the kids were and what my class size was, but I used pretty much every lesson that I made.
Good, good. Well, I want to back up a little bit to your college experience. What really stood out for you as your most fond memory from Lindsey Wilson?
Baseball career was whenever I threw a no-hitter. That was pretty awesome. I'd never done that before, even in high school and Little League and all that stuff. I was one out away in high school and never got the chance, and then in college it just happened, and it was pretty awesome. It was a cool experience. As far as being on campus, just the in and outs of going to class, being with my professors, being with my friends, doing stuff in the dorm, staying up way too late, that type of stuff was the things that I look back and remember.
Yeah. You were involved in a lot of other areas on campus too,
Right.
not just in baseball. What other activities were you in?
I was part of the Student Activities Board, which we made all the student activities on campus, all the dances, all the different things that happened around campus. I was also the Secretary for Student Concerns on the Student Government Association, so I was involved on campus a lot with that. Pretty much every day there was something going on with the Student Government Association, and my job was to go and communicate and try to make the campus better. I took things from the kids that I really thought that would make the campus better, such as what kind of food options we had, that kind of stuff. That was always a big one. But I would go and talk to the people in the administration office about that kind of stuff. And that was really cool, getting to see all the people, all the higher up people at Lindsey, and getting to actually communicate with them and make those connections. So that was good. That was good.
Do you think that those types of positions really helped you in your professional teaching career, already knowing how to network?
Yeah, that was a big thing, because networking is a big part of getting jobs now in general. Is just being able to know people and being able to talk to people and being able to make those connections with them. And me being able to talk to those people that have higher end jobs, that's good, because once you get into the school system, if you want to work your way up, you have to obviously have the education, but you have to know the people, you have to have the right kind of mindset, that kind of thing, and it really helped me out a lot.
Excellent. I know a lot of our student athletes want to know about your career here at Lindsey and your baseball career, and then your career now with professional baseball. So talk about your college baseball career.
College baseball career, I came in, as a freshman. I didn't expect to play much as a freshman. I got in, actually started opening weekend as a freshman, which was kind of surprising. Which our team wasn't that great as a freshman. But, coming in here, we built the new stadium. That was cool. We actually built it ourselves almost. So that was a pretty memorable experience as well.
Yeah.
I forgot about that, but having to lay that sod. But getting in there, getting with those guys, having to transition from high school to college was a little bit of a change. But my college experience was great, especially my last 3 years. I had good seasons those years. And just being able to compete and go against the other teams, especially that last year, competing for that Mid-South Conference title was cool. Being able to actually be at the top echelon, being ranked in the top 25, having people be scared to play you rather than being scared to play other people. That was kind of cool. And having that, almost swagger about yourself that you're going to win.
Right.
So that was pretty cool, getting to be able to experience that. And just being around the team and, the coaches and that kind of thing was awesome.
So your senior season was really, the highlight of your baseball career. And I heard that you actually had an injury.
I did. I got hit with the line drive. I made a mistake on a 3-1 pitch and actually got a ball hit right back at me, and I couldn't get out of the way. It drilled me right here on my ring finger on my right hand. And at the time, it hit me, and I didn't even realize it hit me. I was looking for the ball. And of course, I came out because my finger was about 8 sizes the size of it is now. And I was like, I can move it a little bit. I didn't think anything was wrong. I got in the dugout. Their trainer came over and did a little test to see if it was broke, and I didn't have any pain. And after the game, I went to Bardstown. We were in St. Catherine. I went to Bardstown, and they did X-rays and saw it was broken. And I was just straight heartbroken. It was 3 weeks left in the season. We were top 15 in the country. We had a chance to go to the national tournament, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Ended up doing rehab. I did everything. My dad made little concoctions that he thought was going to work from on the internet kind of stuff. I had this thing wrapped. I was icing it. And I actually got to pitch the very last game of the year, which we lost. But I was just on ibuprofen, and I was trying to hold the ball like this, and it was just, we were playing the best team in the country, and it just didn't go very well. But I got to come back and pitch the last game at least.
Fantastic. Well, and it's always hard to come back from an injury, and especially to come back in tournament play from an injury as a pitcher on your throwing hand. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was tough.
But you didn't just get it done on the field. You got it done in the classroom. I was looking up a lot of your academic accolades, and you were really a star athlete in the NAI and Mid-South Conference for academics as well. Do you remember what your final GPA was?
It was around a 3.85 or 3.86, something like that.
Absolutely. So getting it done in the classroom was also really important as a student athlete.
Yeah, student athlete speaks for itself. You got to be a student first, and that was always my key when I came to Lindsey. Was just I got to get my academics first, or I can't play ball. And I could have took it a little easier and still got to play ball, but I was always one of those guys that I didn't want to have bad grades. I mean, I was just always that kind of guy. And so I would study, and, you know, I would always get my stuff done in time. And I was never one to put stuff off and that kind of thing. And just being in college, you're supposed to do well. I was like, I want to come here and do well. You know, I don't want to be a letdown, you know, that kind of thing. So I want to really work hard, you know, on the field and off the field.
So do you think that work ethic, as far as the classroom and being a, you know, an athlete, played into your experience going from someone in just the career field into professional athletics?
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, I went to do that weighted ball thing, which that's a whole other thing, but to get to play ball. But I mean, I had to work hard. I mean, I was working out and doing like lifting and all that kind of stuff on the side just to get stronger, and didn't have any aspirations of playing baseball after I got my career. And then I would always just be like, you know, what if? So I was like, I'm gonna try it again. So I had to bust my tail to be able to get back in shape to be able to go and play ball.
Right.
So, you know, having that drive inside of me. And I think that's a big thing with people is you got to have it inside of you to do it. I mean, some people can tell you all they want to, but if you don't want to do it, it's not going to happen. So having that drive inside of me was a big thing. You know, I might as well give this 100% or it's not going to work. So that was a big thing, yeah.
So after you are in Hardin County, you're teaching, what happens next? How did you get out to Missoula, Montana?
Well, I was teaching and I was coaching as well. And one of our assistant coaches helps with the weighted ball program, the thing in E-Town that they do, these weighted ball programs supposed to help your velocity. So I was like, you know what? I mean, so-and-so did it. They did this. They did that. I was like, why can't I do it? And I threw pretty hard in college. Maybe I can throw a little hard with this weighted ball program. And who knows? I might as well try now, or I'm not going to try later. So I've got to try when I'm at least halfway young. So I was like, I'm going to try it out. So I went and threw really well. I threw hard, and they started calling people. They have all kinds of connections and got me tryouts. And I flew to Arizona on my own money, which was crazy. But yeah. I flew to Arizona, had a tryout there, did really well, come back home, didn't get a call first. And I was like, oh, man, I'm not going to get signed. And I threw well enough that I thought I was going to get to. And then eventually they did call and offer me a contract, and then had to resign and teaching, and went to Arizona and went to spring training and ended up in Montana playing ball. So it was kind of a wild experience. So
you kind of just living your dream right now?
Absolutely. That's why I tell everybody, how you doing? I'm living the dream. You know, that's from a movie, I think, somewhere. But I say it every time because it really is. I mean, that was my dream as a kid to play professional baseball. I mean, that's every little kid's dream, to play baseball and play professional baseball. Right. So it was pretty cool getting to do that.
Do you think you'll ever go back to teaching?
Yeah, I think I definitely will, because I can't play baseball forever. You know, I'm not going to be a $50 million kind of guy. I mean, that's just not going to happen. But I mean, I will definitely go back to teaching, especially coaching as well. Having that background is going to be huge. But I'll definitely go back to teaching because I missed the kids. You know, I missed the in and outs of being with them each day. You know, getting to work with them and help them become better people. That was a big thing. So I'll definitely go back.
So, do you ever aspire to go to the major league?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's always the plan now. It doesn't happen for most people, but I mean, there's a chance that it could happen. You know, I mean, I've got a pitch ball, obviously, and some things have got to happen the right way, and my pieces have got to fall in the right direction. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there's still a chance. I mean, I'm affiliated with the major league team, so it could happen. You know, I'm still gonna have to work hard, get better each day, that kind of thing. Work hard in the off season. But definitely want to play in the major leagues. That'd be awesome, walk on that field for the first time. It'd be pretty cool.
So when do you go back?
I go back next at the end of February. So I'll go back to spring training then. At the end of February, beginning of March, probably the end of February. I don't know the exact date yet because we got a new general manager, a new coach, all that stuff. So that should all change, and hopefully I'll be getting a call about that pretty soon. I don't know for sure exactly when that'll happen.
So if I were to put you in a group of brand new freshmen at Lindsey Wilson and they say, I want to be a professional athlete, what kind of advice would you give to them as far as what they need to do during their collegiate career to get them there?
Well, they got to work hard for one, not just on the field. You got to work hard in the classroom too, because if you're not eligible to play, you can't play. So it's going to be hard to get to that next level. Obviously, if you don't have the grades to play at college, but working hard, you've got to work hard in the weight room. You've got to work hard at perfecting your craft, especially pitching is a craft. You got to work on it each day. And all the sports in general, I'm sure, have as many things as baseball does. You know, every sport has its own little thing that they've got to work on. But just working hard, that's the biggest thing. Is and don't get distracted with all the other things going on. If that's what you really want to do, you've really got to work hard, and that's got to be your priority. You've really got to let that other stuff go, some of the other stuff that might be fun that you might think it is, but you got to let it go sometimes and really work hard. You know, do I want to play video games instead of go to the weight room? Probably go to the weight room.
Yeah.
You know, if you've worked hard, you know, you can reward yourself a little bit, but you've got to work hard, and if you really want to get to that next level, that's what it takes.
What about how students are on social media? Do you think that they start to build their brand as soon as they step foot on campus?
You've got to, yeah. Social media is a big thing. We actually have a whole department with the Arizona Diamondbacks that literally monitor every single person's social media stuff. And they even go out at the very beginning of spring training. We have this big meeting for an hour, and this person sits up there and reads people's tweets and basically embarrasses them. So that's a big thing. People see that. People see what you post on social media, what you post on Twitter. Are you posting these bad pictures with alcohol? Are you up at 3 o'clock in the morning? Or are you tweeting cuss words and stuff on your Twitter? They see that stuff, and they really do make a difference. And they've called people. I know some of our guys on our team would tweet stuff. That thing that happened with Richard Sherman last year where he got all that stuff in NFL. Everyone tweeted about it. It was like the whole world was going crazy. But they called out everybody.
Yeah.
So you've got to be careful what you say, and it could really hurt you in the long run. It could really make a big difference. Some people don't want to hire people that are all over social media, that are saying all this bad stuff, that are talking negatively, that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So it's a big deal.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in, Derek. Derek is one of our, of course, success stories of being a student and an athlete, but I think the major thing that you've heard him talk about is that he wasn't just an athlete, but he was a student first, and has an awesome degree from an awesome institution that'll help him throughout his career. So we definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.